One blanket as an optional prop, a block, and the strap for class tonight. So making sure you've got all those things nearby. And we're going to get started on our backs as usual. So coming down to your mat, finding a comfortable shape, maybe in a shavasana, legs out long, arms out long, maybe knees bent, soles of the feet on the ground, maybe with hands resting on the body, just finding what feels natural. Once we found stillness, we start to close our eyes. Imagine you're starting to turn down the volume on everything in the outside world. Whatever you were doing before you started practice today, whatever you might be planning on doing afterwards. Just for now, setting all that aside, letting it go. Just allowing yourself to be here in this moment with your body. Begin to deepen the breath, inhaling through the nose for a count of 4, and exhaling out the nose for a count of 4. Starting to intentionally lengthen and balance out the inhales and exhales. Smoothing out the breath at the top of the inhale and the bottom of the exhale. If you haven't already done so, I invite you to place one hand on the belly. And as you breathe, just feeling the rise and fall of your body. Against the earth. Just feeling the natural rhythm of the breath. We'll take one collective breath together to begin our practice, exhaling all the air out of your lungs, sealing the lips, and drawing a deep inhale through the nose. And then open mouth, sighing it out. And gently blink the eyes open. Bring arms alongside the body, maybe out to a T. And if your feet are not already planted on your mat, we'll bring them there, bent knees, and then just start to windshield wipe the legs back and forth, following the breath, letting the knees fall to one side on your exhales and move through center on your inhales. This might be a pretty slow movement, that's fine. You can play around with moving both knees together or letting the first knee fall over before pulling the second knee along with it. And when you've had enough of that, we'll meet back in center. We'll send the left leg out long on our mat, drawing the right knee in towards the chest and interlacing fingers around the right shin or behind the right thigh, hugging that knee in close towards the body. Deep inhale, and we'll exhale to draw the right knee over towards the left, keeping left hand connected, coming into a supine twist. Right arm can come out to a T. And keeping both shoulders connected to the ground here, so your twist might not be very deep, maybe the knee is floating. That's fine. Sending some breath into any spaces that feel tight or crunchy at the beginning of class. So more likely than not, we all have something that's feeling a little tensed up. One more full breath here. We'll inhale to come back through center and exhale to switch out the legs. Right leg goes long, left knee draws in, wrapping arms around that left shin or thigh. Giving it a nice big squeeze on an inhale. And then exhaling to draw that right knee across the body to come into our twist. And just noticing where you feel this twist the most. Maybe it's in the shoulder and the hip, lower back. Just noticing. One more full breath on this side. We'll exhale to come back through center. We'll grab our strap and wrap it around the hands a little bit if you want to. We're going to wrap a loop or the center of our strap around the sole of the right foot. And we'll send the left leg out long once more. Pressing that right foot up towards the sky. If you're trying to step on the ceiling, using the tension of the strap, create some opening in the back of the right leg, the hamstring. And bringing the strap around the ball of the foot, We'll play around with pointing and flexing the toes against the strap. You can bring a little bend into the knee in order to do this. Just noticing the sensation in the back of the leg with the resistance from the strap as you do this. And then letting that go, start to bring in some bigger movement, so bending and straightening through the knee. Again, pressing the sole of the foot into the strap, really using that resistance to create some sensation. All right, and then we'll find ourselves back in center with that leg long. And we'll release the strap, switch out our legs, so send the right leg down to the mat. Left leg draws in, wrapping the strap around the ball mound of the foot. And we'll first start by keeping that leg still. Maybe bringing a little bend into that knee so they can really press the sole of the foot up towards the sky, perpendicular to the floor. And then we'll start to point and flex the toes. Won't need very much pull back on your strap for this, just a little bit is enough. And then starting to make that movement a little bit bigger, bringing it into the knee, and moving and straightening. And then coming back to stillness, legs straight up towards the sky. We'll remove the strap, let that left leg fall back towards the earth. And then we'll just rock up to a seated position, however you see fit. And finding a cross-legged seat, maybe bringing a prop underneath the sits bones. Keeping our strap nearby, we'll use that again soon. In our seat, we'll inhale to sweep arms up overhead. Exhale, drop right arm down towards the floor. Left arm comes up and over, opening the left side body. Couple deep breaths here. Inhale to lengthen. We'll exhale to flip that top palm up towards the sky and then start to circle down towards the earth, towards the hip, really reaching through the fingertips as we do this. Inhale to come back overhead. Exhale to plant that left hand, walk through center, finding a fold over our crossed legs. Taking a few deep breaths. Inhale here, and then exhale to walk hands over to the left, left palm plant. Inhale, right arm up long overhead. Lengthening the right side of the upper body. Inhale. And then exhale to flip that palm up towards the sky. Circle the right arm all the way down. Reaching through the fingertips. Inhale, back up and over. And exhale to plant right palm. Walk hand over hand through center, finding that forward fold. Next inhale, we'll start to press ourselves back up to our upright seated position. And we'll uncross and recross the legs the opposite direction. So the unnatural feeling way for you. And then we'll grab our strap again. And I'm going to do some shoulder flossing, my favorite. So we'll start with our narrow shoulder width grip, maybe just a little bit wider. And inhale to bring the strap overhead. Exhale to bend elbows, pulling the strap behind the head, coming to parallel with the floor with the tops of the arms, biceps. Inhale to press back up overhead. And exhale to draw that strap back down behind the head. Just do a few of these at your own pace. Really pulling the hands away from each other on the strap. And keeping the shoulders drawn back, so almost squeezing the shoulder blades together as we do this. Last one. We'll inhale back overhead and exhale to drop the hands down towards the seat. And then we'll take our wide grip. So hands out about wide enough so that with straight arms, the strap falls near your hips. And then keeping the arms straight, we'll inhale overhead. And then exhale to drop the arms behind the body, coming all the way down to the hips again. Inhale up. Exhale forward. Inhale overhead. And exhale back. And again, we'll just move through a few of these at our own pace, choosing your depth and intensity. You can shorten your grip if you want a little bit deeper stretch. And if you're having a hard time getting the strap behind your back, you can try widening the hands away from each other. We'll move through one more. And then meeting back in front. I'll set the strap aside. Remove any prop from underneath your seat. And rock forward to all fours. Hands and knees. Finding our neutral tabletop. Taking a little movement to settle into that. Feeling nice and grounded through the whole palms of the hands. These wide fingers. We'll start to move into our cat cow movement. So inhaling, we'll drop the belly, lift the gaze, open the chest. Exhale to curl the tailbone in, tuck the chin. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, cow pose. Exhale to tuck and curl, cat pose. And continue with this movement, making it your own. Maybe you want to focus on one part of the spine or the other. Maybe the shoulders are really sticky and you want to really pay attention to the hugging and opening of the shoulder blades. Or maybe your lower back is bugging you and you want to really focus on curling and opening the lower part of the spine. Whatever feels like going to be best for your body today. And then moving into some organic movements, maybe set to side or rolling, forward and back. And then we'll meet back in our neutral tabletop. Inhale here. And then exhale to bring the big toes together to touch, wide knees. And send the hips back towards the heels for child's pose. And we'll take several breaths here to ground. Feeling the forehead connected to the mat. Reconnecting to the breath. And finding that 4-4 pattern again. The inhales and the exhales. Our next inhale will draw forward back up to tabletop. And then exhale to sit back on the heels, finding hero's pose. Crown of the head reaches up towards the sky. Palms can come to rest on the legs, tops of the thighs. We'll move through a few rounds of a kneeling sun salutation, kind of a gentler version of a sun A. On an inhale, we'll lift hips away from the heels, arms come overhead. Exhale, bend at the elbows, lifting the chest, baby back bend. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale to plant hands, coming to all fours, tabletop position. Inhale to drop the belly, lift the gaze. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin, and send the hips back to the heels for child's pose. One full round of breath here. And then inhale brings us back up to tabletop. And exhale to sit back to hero's pose. Inhale, lift the hips, arms up overhead. Exhale, baby back bend, opening the heart. Inhale to lift. Exhale, tabletop. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat back, send the hips to the heels for child's pose. 2 full breaths in child's pose. And then your next inhale moves back to tabletop. And exhale to sit back to hero's pose. Inhale, arms sweep overhead, hips lift away from heels. Exhale, baby back bend, cactus the arms. Inhale to reach and lift. Exhale to tabletop. Inhale, cow pose, lifting the gaze, opening the collarbone. Exhale, cat back, and then sending hips back to heels for child's pose. Finding 3 breaths in child's pose this time. After your 3 rounds, we'll inhale back to tabletop. And then we'll grab our blanket. And we'll fold it up kind of thick. Maybe you can play around with the height, but starting out higher rather than lower. And we'll place it right underneath the chest with the belly in our tabletop position. And you're going to move into a supported puppy dog pose. So inhale to prepare, and then we'll exhale to send the chest down towards the floor, forehead down towards the floor, keeping the hips lifted away from the heels. So this is like a child's pose with lifted hips. And here you can play around with the height of your blanket. The lower you come to the floor, the more of a heart opener it will be, more of a shoulder opener. So choosing your level of intensity. And settling in wherever you are. Again, finding the breath. Sending it to those spaces that feel tight or stuck. We'll take one more round of breath wherever we are. And then inhale back up to tabletop. Take our blanket out. And then we'll step the right leg forward. So however that works for you, maybe from tabletop, you can come up to the knees if that makes it a little easier. Coming into a low lunge. And here you can grab your block as a prop under a hand if you would like. We'll inhale here, hips sinking forward into low lunge. And then exhale to send the hips back towards the heels, straightening the front knee, half split. Inhale to come forward. Exhale back. Inhale forward. And exhale back. Just do two more of these forward and back movements. Your own breath. And then after our second round, we'll hold our half splits. Folding over the right leg. Maybe keeping a gentle bend in the knee. You have tight hamstrings. Flexing the toes back towards the face. Keeping the hips square to the front of the mat. So thinking about drawing that right hip back a little bit, drawing the left hip forward, if that helps. One more deep breath on this side. And then on an inhale, we'll move back forward through our splits. Exhale to replant that right knee. And set up for the second side. Bringing the right foot forward into a low lunge. And first, just setting up your foundation with a nice square knee stacked over the ankle. Setting up your prop if you would like that. And then inhaling to sink the hips forward, lift the gaze. And then exhale to move back, half splits. Inhale to come forward, walking the hands along with you if you need to. Exhale back. Keeping those left toes flexed. Inhale forward. Exhale to come back. And we'll move through two more of those on your own. Maybe this feels the same as the first side. Maybe it doesn't. A little tighter, a little looser. We always have some imbalances from side to side, so that is totally normal. And then when you come into your half splits for the second time, we'll hold here, finding a shape you can settle into with this, keeping the knee bent as deeply as you need to, and then letting the upper body fall over that straight leg. Keeping the breath full and deep. We'll take one more inhale and exhale. And then your next inhale will come forward to a lunge. And exhale, step the left foot back, your tabletop, and set the block off to the side once again. And then from here, we'll just come down onto our backs. So moving to the floor any way that you want to. And once you have made your way down, we'll bend the knees once again, planting the soles of the feet on the ground. And then we'll pick up the right foot and cross right ankle over left knee, coming into a figure four shape. And start by just energetically pressing that right knee away from the body. Starting to maybe feel sensation in that outer right hip, keeping the right toes flexed. You could stay right here, or you could start to draw left knee in towards the chest if you want to deepen that stretch in the right hip, wrapping arms or hands behind the left thigh. Alternatively, you could start to drop both legs over towards the left, eventually bringing the sole of the right foot to the ground, finding a twist. And bringing arms out to a T. Another way you could deepen this stretch is to place a block under the left foot, so you're bringing the left foot up away from the ground a little bit. Keeping the breath full and smooth and deep. If you've taken a variation, returning the legs back to center, left foot plants on the floor. And then on an exhale, we'll release the right foot back down, leaving both soles of the feet connected to the mat. And then we'll set up our second side, so crossing left ankle over right knee. And starting by just flexing those left toes back and pressing the left knee away from the body. Feeling that activate the right or the left outer hip. And then choosing your own adventure here, maybe drawing right knee in towards the chest, maybe finding a twist or using the block under the right foot. Again, if you took a variation, we'll move back to center, replant the right foot, and then uncross the left leg. Coming back to both soles of the feet on the ground. And then we'll grab our block one more time and set it up on either the low or medium setting next to us within reach. We'll press the heels, soles of the feet into the ground. Inhale to lift the hips up towards the sky, coming into a bridge pose briefly, and then slide the block right underneath the hips and the sacrum. Finding first our supported bridge, and then from here we'll move right into legs up the wall. So drawing the knees up over the hips and then sending the feet up towards the sky. You might play around with the placement of that block before you find the sweet spot where your legs are just floating above you with very little effort. And when you're there, just finding a stillness will be our last pose before we move into Shavasana. Kind of cooling down the body. You can stay in legs up the wall as long as you want to. Whenever you feel ready, starting to make your way back down to the mat, coming into your final resting shape for Shavasana. Whatever that looks like. Starting to close the eyes. Find stillness. Whatever shape you choose. Allowing it to be something that you can fully relax in. to deepen the breath once again. Feeling the cool, fresh air wake up your body. And start to bring some small movements into the fingers and toes, wrists and ankles, rock head side to side, and eventually reaching arms up overhead, extending through fingertips and toes for a full body stretch. And then exhaling to curl over to either side, and taking a few breaths before pressing yourself back up to a seated position. We'll take a collective breath once again to finish out our practice. Sealing the lips and exhaling all the air out of your lungs. Drawing a deep breath in through the nose all the way down to the base of the belly, expanding rib cage and chest, and opening the mouth, sighing it out. Gently blink eyes back open, bringing hands to heart center. A moment of gratitude for ourselves for taking some time out of our day for a yoga practice and the circumstances in our life that allow us to do that. We'll inhale thumbs to third eye center, and then exhale to bow forward. Namaste. Cool. Thanks, everyone. Have a good weekend. Hope you're staying warm and safe. All right. Bye.